All right, what's up all day? So we're gonna get straight to it. So this segment I'm gonna talk about is Chad Ochocinco or Chad Johnson, aka Ochocinco. Is he a Hall of Famer? And yes, I will say he is a Hall of Famer. I guess some people don't think he is, but if you watched Chad Johnson play, there really is no doubt in your mind. The only argument that one can have about Chad Johnson not being a Hall of Famer is him not doing it long enough. That was my concern as well for a little bit, but when you just think about it, when he was in his prime, when in the era when he was just dominant, those years, those are one of the greatest years ever. How he played the position. Like he played the position like there's very few people in the history of this NFL of the league that can play like the way that Chad Johnson played or Chad Ochocinco played. And I can't I mean it's obviously he's not first ballot, and I wouldn't say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer. There's a lot of wide receivers who's not in right now, who are great wide receivers who's not in. I can't think of all of them at the top of my head, but to not put Chad Ochocinco in the Hall of Fame, that's tough. That's tough. He did too much. He did for the game. I mean, take away from him being entertaining, his personality, him changing his last name to Ocho Cinco, all of that, the fame and everything, he still produced on the field. He still produced on the field. And there's very few wide receivers in a decade of the 2010s that I will put over Chad because Chad in his prime. Because to be honest with you, Chad in his prime, there was only a few wide receivers who was better than him. Only a few. And you can argue Steve Smith. I mean, obviously T.O. was better. Obviously Andre Johnson was better. Obviously Calvin Johnson was better. But it stops there for me. You can make an argument that he was better than Larry Fitzgerald. I know a lot of people think Larry Fitzgerald, like it's like, Larry Fitzgerald's better than Ocho. Larry Fitzgerald, the thing with Larry Fitzgerald was Larry Fitzgerald had longevity. Larry Fitzgerald was very, very consistent. But if you're talking about dominant wise, playing the position, I mean, nah, man, I can't just automatically just say Larry Fitzgerald is just automatically better. I mean, even in Anquan Boldin's days, when Anquan Boldin was with the Cardinals, I don't even think Antonio Brown, obviously, but Antonio Brown didn't play it long enough. So are we going to say that Antonio Brown isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer? So I don't Chad Ochocinco is definitely a Hall of Famer, man, and he should definitely. I don't know when he's going to be able to get in, but he should definitely get in. I mean, I don't know if he ever will, but we're gonna have to find out. We'll find out. But let's see. I it was a video on Speak Easy. They was talking about if he was a Hall of Famer, and I thought it was kind of interesting video take. This is why I did this video because I wanted to. I was listening to them, and I was like, oh snap, let me jump on and talk about this tonight. So let me find it real quick. And let's see. Let me give you a second. I know TJ Huchimazada, he came out on his X account. I think it was his X account or his accounts, and he said, and he pretty much said that if Chad doesn't get in, he was pretty much saying it was like a kind of disgrace to the Hall of Fame. And he's right. I mean, TJ Hushmazada has been stating his case about Chad should be getting into the Hall of Fame for a while now. And TJ's point was is that I think he was saying that if you're good, if you're one of the best in your position, or if not the best in your position, I think like in a 5-year stretch or something like that, it was like you're a Hall of Famer in his book. And he has a good point. I mean, if you're one of the best in your position, or maybe top five for I guess. Well, I mean, that's just not long enough. I can't remember. The case that he made, I thought it made sense. So maybe it wasn't 5. So I have to look it up what he said, but specifically. But I think I have to agree with him. But all I know is I saw Chad play, and when I watched Chad play, the only knock that I had on Chad was that he just didn't did it long enough. That was my only knock. But I mean, did Antonio Brown do it long enough? And like I'm saying, I mean, Antonio Brown was just too good. It was too good for him not to be off him. Even with all the stuff that's going on with him and everything, it was just he was just too dominant of a wide receiver. And to be honest with you, Antonio Brown was so good. If he would have kept playing and he would have stayed in his prime, he probably would have been the greatest wide receiver of all time, or at least arguably one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. I mean, well, he's already one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, but he definitely would have arguably been like top 3, top 5 the most, Antonio Brown, if he would have stayed consistent and kept doing what he was doing. But he did it. But let's see. I'm gonna see if I can find me an article about TJ Hushimazada talking about Chad. Let me see. Well, there we go. This was the time when he talked about Ocho should be in the Hall of Fame. So we'll watch this, and then we'll look at. All right.
Doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe. Joe Crack.
What's happening?
Hey, look, hey, Team Swole.
Hey, I see you got your little ass back in that weight room. You need to get on that Shark playing, boy.
What's been up?
You got to get on that Shannon Sharp playing. No. Shit, we love fucking
I'm on the Shannon Sharp playing.
Hey, slide your boy one of them.
I got you. Hey, listen, you put it under the tongue, boy, it does wonders. You hear me?
Hey, slide your boy.
I got you.
Look, how did I get involved in this? How did I get involved with this? Hey, TJ, let me ask you this. When you first met when you first met Ocho, what was your impression of this dude?
Man, so we met in college. Chad was just real chill. Real chill. Chad don't really talk no shit till it's like the competition start. Other than that, Chad chilling. And then when the competition start, that's when all the shit. So, I thought Chad was hella quiet. And then we went to practice. I said, oh shit, who is this? He was just a different guy.
Fool.
Man, straight up, who is this fool? Exactly.
Oh, them some good days, man. Them some good days.
TJ.
And I've been knowing Chad since we was teenagers, basically.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How many years has it been? Listen, my man, I'm not.
Bro, you 46. If you were a teenager, it'd be 28.
Chad, that's damn near 30 years, bro.
Golly, boy.
Hey, you know what's crazy though, Chad? I was just telling somebody this. No, we still look the same, boy. God done blessed us.
Hey, you know what they say? The blacker the juice, the sweeter the berry.
Hey,
Something like that.
God bless. When we were born, God said, "That's my son." He hit us with that.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Everybody.
TJ, when he blessed you to keep your hair, he didn't bless Ocho with that.
Oh wait, hey TJ, can you tell Unc I could grow a full set of hair now?
Chad, he always had a bald head. He ain't never had no. He'll grow some hair here and there.
See,
he always had hair.
Sporadic. It's sporadic.
I know.
As a matter of fact, TJ, Ocho hair is kind of like my sex life. Sporadic. Sporadic.
Nah, don't do that. You know that ain't.
What if I ain't got no sparks? Ocho to cut me out of my deal. I can't get no sparks because he ordered them all.
I got about 3 boxes full.
Like, boy, you always in LA. You come to LA. You ain't.
Hey, matter of fact, I'm gonna be in LA. I'm gonna be in LA on the 30th. But you gotta understand, these are prescribed specifically for me based on the questions I had to ask before I ordered them. You hear me?
That was a no-brainer. You're talking about one of the top 3 receivers in the league, and I'm not sure he's 2 or 3. You make the case, it's easy to say he or Jetta based on the last.
Hendrickson, nobody. I fired my agent because I want to stay here.
They paying everybody a little bit early.
Because I told them they could have had T. Higgins 5 years, 100. He just did Saquon.
Gave 20 mil.
Some of the pressures that
I believe Jenkins is to be a second grit to play how he played in 2023.
Yeah. Dijon, you pay him, not Jalen.
Where we call this hustling backwards. I ain't holding out. I'm trying to get money. I'm not gonna hold anything against the Steelers the first year if you trade Hendrickson, and then I give you.
He will release you, even if you if you put him at Myles Garrett. Tired.
Then you should have played like you wanted more than 7 million.
Damn, T.
Hey, but see, you talk about me, Ocho. Look at TJ.
Hey.
TJ cutting them up.
I'm saying outside of Trey Hendrickson, who on that defense could literally say I deserve a pay raise?
You know, whoever Don knows straight.
Probably you think.
Okay, if I can find that
no jacket though.
No. Chad, you joking. You know I'm serious.
There we go.
What them lokes on is.
Huh?
Like
I've not. You and I've been playing together since college.
There we go.
Trey Hendrickson was the only one that showed up each and every game when he was needed. Now, Jermaine Pratt had some games, but he done had some plays where we needed that play. We needed that play. I mean, if you start at any position in the league, we all know this, and you get enough opportunity, you're gonna make enough plays. But what about the plays you don't make?
When I look. Go ahead.
Now, I would get ready to say, obviously, you and I have been playing together since college, and I view, and I've always said it before. I think Chase is probably, to me, the greatest Bengal receiver. You know, to ever Don knows straight.
Probably you think.
Okay, Chad, stop,
wait. Let me finish.
No, because that's not true. That's not
Isaac
true.
Curtis, downtown Freddie Brown.
No, that man right there with them lokes on is.
Huh?
Like
I never won a Triple Crown though.
Listen, because you had me. Listen though, and Chad know this, Shannon. He know what I'm about to. Man, Chad's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame, man. They fucking this boy over. Man.
I put on my own jacket though.
No. Chad, you joking. You know I'm serious about this because I tell you this all the time. Chad is the greatest receiver in Bengals history. Now, Jamar Chase is on his way to trying to equal or pass Chad. But where we sit right now, man, Chad is here.
Wow.
It's Chad. It's AJ Green, it's Isaac Curtis. That's what it is to me.
Yeah.
Now, Jamar Chase is on his way to getting there. But come on, Chad, you can't do it to you. You know how I tell you this all the time. Shannon, you in the
Yeah. I can't believe I forgot about my boy AJ Green. AJ Green was a dog. AJ Green needs to go to the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to play an Ocho take, but Ocho, he mentioned Julio Jones. Julio Jones was a monster. Julio Jones does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but Julio Jones wasn't that much better than AJ Green. wasn't that much better than AJ Green. AJ Green was a dog, man. And yeah, the guys that TJ just named, that's is Chad, AJ Green, you know, and yeah, Chase is definitely on his way, but Chase has to put in more work. But that's the thing, man, because AJ Green is definitely a Hall of Famer, but I'm not gonna say AJ Green is better than Chad Ochocinco, and AJ Green isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. So there's some great wide receivers out there, man, that hasn't been in the Hall of Fame. But I think in time they will get there. They will get their shine. They will get a shot to get into the Hall of Fame. And it's going to be an amazing thing when Chad does get in. I honestly think Chad will get in one day. I just think they're just making him wait. That's my opinion. I just think they're just making him wait. You can't like. It'll be a crime to never put him in. It'll be a crime to never put Chad Ochocinco in.
Hall of Fame. Let me give you my Hall of Fame criteria because for some odd reason, I think my criteria is the best and nobody listens to it.
This is it right here. This is it. This is what I was trying to find, his criteria. And I kind of went with it. I think it was like, at first when I first heard it, I was like, nah, I don't know. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, yo, TJ is actually right. He's actually very, very, very right. And I like TJ Shushamzada. I mean, I met him before. Real cool guy. Real cool guy. But let's see.
For a period of 5 years, were you a top 5 player at your position? If you got to think about it, you're not a Hall of Famer. I
agree.
Mm.
So now you go to 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 7 years. 7 of those years, Chad was top 3 in the league for 5 of them. He led the AFC 5 years in a row. How this man can't even be a finalist? Like that makes no sense. He was leading the AFC in a year he didn't lead it. I did.
Holy shit, listen to this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, so the total amount is going to be $34,000.
$34,000. Okay, and you're sure?
Yes.
Five at their position, they getting in.
I was a villain. The villain, they never letting the villain in.
Nah,
They listen. But I understood that. Why you think I donned the jacket in the first place? Because I understood the politics that came behind it. I don't like the I don't like the business side of football. Remember we talked about that the other day? I talked about contracts. The reason why I played the game like a little kid, having fun and entertaining. Now the flip side of things. Okay, I know how y'all gonna play me. I chose not to conform. I'm playing the game the way I felt it should be played. So regardless of what my numbers would be, T, I understand what you're saying, and I told you this before.
You earned it. But
you gotta play by their rules. If you don't play by their rules, they not letting you in there. You know how I feel about it. You know I can give 2. You know what?
Hey, play by their rules now. All the stuff that you was doing, you can do now. You don't even get fined for it. They owe you back.
Yeah, but
they owe you back. Let me give them money.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Ocho. You had no off-field issues. Now, what happened was the thing that's going against you, and you still don't have this, is that they wanted to keep T.O. out so bad, they changed it. They said anything that you did on the sidelines or in the locker room could be used against you. Where before, they said even off-field activities couldn't be held against the player. Mm-hmm. That's how bad they wanted to keep T.O. from being the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That was criminal. T.O.
And then they had the nerve. Then they had the nerve not to let him in the first year. Man,
the second year, no, the first year, and I think even though and y'all know how I feel about T.O., I said he's the second greatest receiver to me. Some people push back and say it's Randy, but we know I think you and I think TJ and I are more aligned. I think Jerry's the greatest receiver, and it ain't close. That's my prediction. Now, TJ, you might say Randy, you might say T.O., but for me, I think those 3 are the top 3 receivers as we sit here and discuss it today. Now, Chase and Jetta and somebody down the line might have something to say about it, but I sure hope I'm alive when I can see the receiver that say, hey, he right there with Jerry. I want to be alive to see that receiver.
That ain't gonna never happen.
Yeah.
That Jerry Rice was getting 1,000 yards in year 20, bro.
40 years old, got 1,200 yards.
Yeah.
That's never gonna happen. We'll never see somebody do what Jerry Rice has done. But Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, they on their way, but they got to make sure that they don't hit any bumps in the road because Odell Beckham was on his way as well, and he hit those bumps in the road, and he could never recover from that.
Very right. Very right. Yeah.
I just feel like
very right about
Chad is the best Bengal receiver in the history of the team. He knows that. I know that. Now Chase is on his way. I tell Chad this all the time because he never gonna say nothing about it, man. It's just a crime that he can't be a Hall of Fame finalist when his game on the field, he earned that shit, bro. And that's one thing about Chad. Like, when you talk about work hard, well, this dude is gonna run himself to death. Like, Shannon, we was in year 9, and we was taking all the scout team reps like we was still rookies.
Every time.
Every practice. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we did all the offensive reps, all the scout team reps. I left the Bengals and went to other teams. Them dudes is like, bro, why on the scout team? It's a habit. I just always have done it. And so people don't realize, like, Chad worked hard. We similar paths. We both went JUCO. We both had, like, ain't no way they making it to the league. Oh, shit, they made it. And to be successful, I mean, that right there within itself, pat yourself on the back. But yeah, Chad should be in the Hall of Fame, man. Any chance I get, I'm going to say that because I know who the best receivers were. And I'm not going to put nobody down, but some of these dudes, they not better than him. And them dudes even know they not better than him.
Last season, you stepped up to help out rookie Jermaine Burton. We saw the struggles. A lot of it played out publicly. Ocho say he's gonna try to intervene this year. We got 2 great Bengal receivers that's trying to help the younger generation. Professional aspect of it, which is what you do. You're an NFL. That means you're a professional. And which is the way you go about handling your business. Yeah. We need to get you to be.
All right, so that's it for that. Don't want to get into that. That's old news. We don't need to talk about Jermaine Burton. Unfortunately, what's going on with him. Hopefully, he can make his way back into the league or make his way to playing. He's a freaking waste of talent as of right now. But we'll see what happens. Guy out of Alabama. But I wanted to keep it focused on Chad Ochocinco not getting into the Hall of Fame as if he's a Hall of Famer or not. You all know what I just said. My take, I say he is. I wouldn't say I wouldn't argue at all about him being the first ballot, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Let's see what Speakeasy got to say about it. I find it very funny that they waited for TJ not to be on the show for them to have this conversation. Let's see here. And I mean, his take on this, I think Shady had a really good take on these takes with the Hall of Fame takes that they're talking about on this. Sometimes Shady does speak sense. Sometimes when he's not biased, he does speak a lot of sense with his takes. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Before we got to talk about a Bengals wide receiver, TJ Hushmanzada, friend of the show. Actually, I mean, integral member of the show. I'll say that. On Chad Ochocinco, he said Chad should have been in the Hall of Fame. The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is crazy. If he doesn't get in the Hall of Fame, it ain't worth nothing. Fellas, do you guys think that Ochocinco is a Hall of Famer?
All right, I'm out, people. Look, Prize Picks, it's America's #1 team picks. Johnson went crazy. Vibes. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. 2-5. You got to go first on this.
You go first. I'm listening. I'm trying to see. You be having crazy takes.
I want to say yes because Chad Johnson went crazy. The hard part I got to remember is like Chad Johnson was at his peak when I was in my most impressionable years. So was Chad Johnson as good as I want to believe, or was I just in love with Ochocinco popcorn bag? Was I in love with Ochocinco talking smack to Ray Lewis? Like when you really look at the numbers, wide receiver, I would suggest, is the hardest position to get into the Hall
popcorn bag. I don't remember.
Like I think Reggie Wayne was arguing to get in for a while. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce. I think Isaac Bruce is now in, but Torrey, but I'm like, but Torrey Holt's not in. Like the Hall of Fame at wide receiver is incredibly difficult to get in. Ochocinco.
Oh, God.
Hear me out. Level 1, level 4. I don't even know if I can get to level 4.
these stupid ass are all about talk until they come back on. But anyway, he's talking about T.O. with the popcorn bag. I don't mean Ochocinco with the popcorn bag. I don't remember that. I remember T.O. doing that, not Chad. But already, like I don't like Ocho's take because he's talking about in his early years he was the most impressionable. That doesn't have anything to do with it. Anybody who's watching football at that time when Chad was playing, when from his rookie year all the way up to I guess you can say 2000 and maybe 10 or 12. I guess I can't remember the year when he really started falling off. Dude, like that 5-year stretch, it was obvious. Like it was just obvious. When Chad Ochocinco put the Hall of Fame jacket on, there was nobody who disagreed with that. Nobody. When he put the Hall of Fame jacket on with one of his celebrations, the only people who had a problem with it was the NFL. That was it. Fans, players, nobody argued, debated that because what he was doing, how his separation, his ability to get open in his hands, his like there was not I'm trying to think what was a weakness in Chad Ochocinco's game. There wasn't. Like I said, the only thing I can knock about Chad, and I have this conclusion at that time was that he just didn't do it. I was like he just didn't do it long enough. But that was it. Everything else, man, he was prolific at the wide receiver position. Prolific. His route running. I mean, everything he did was freaking elite. Everything. So I don't really know what Acho was talking about. Am I just being impressionable because of Chad's name and how animated he was? That doesn't really make any sense. I mean, like peak matters, and Ocho had a real peak as a top tier wide receiver in his era. Route running, like I said, separation, production. And an era does have context. He played in a time with killer wide receiver competition. You have to think about that. It wasn't like he wasn't Moss or T.O., but that's a lazy argument. Like, you know what I'm saying? That if somebody's going to say he wasn't Terrell Owens or Randy Moss, but the Hall of Fame isn't only for top 3 of all time. So, and that's where I feel like where Acho's take is going. I mean, and you got well on tape. It's classic. I don't think there will be any kind of wide receiver that will be coming up into the league that will not pay attention to Ocho's game. You're not doing your homework if you don't. If you're a guy coming out of high school, going to college to the pros, you are not doing your homework if you're not paying attention to Ocho's game. He was fluent, effortless on how he played. It was beautiful. His footwork, everything, his quickness. He was so freaking quick. I feel like he was more quick than fast. Like he was so agile, and his footwork was freaking phenomenal. You're I'm gonna be honest. You're dumb if you don't pay attention to his to Ocho's tape, to Ocho's game. If you're a wide receiver, you're dumb. You're dumb, and that's just the bottom line. And I mean, like I said, the footwork, the releases, the timing. He wasn't a system only guy. He could play at any position. He could play any position, any offense, anywhere, any quarterback. I mean, so if anything, he made the league bigger with his branding too. He did a lot for the NFL, He really did. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I do know, but I guess like, yeah. But let's just keep watching it. The ad is over now. But let me get back to that. To the ad button. Get back to it.
I think he's a fringe guy. You know what I mean? Like, but did he have more bravado than he actually have game? Is Torrey Holt in the Hall of Fame?
He is not.
So Torrey Holt's not in the Hall of Fame. And Torrey Holt led 2 years, had 2 1,700-yard seasons, 1,691 yards for context. Chad Johnson, he never had more than a 1,400-yard season, ever. And this was a Bengals team that was always trailing with Carson Palmer, who was going to air it out, led Larry Fitzgerald to what will be a first ballot Hall of Fame career. So, like, if Chad Johnson was still Chad Johnson and not Ochocinco, would we be having this conversation?
Yeah,
that's
we
my
would.
train of thought. Like, if his name wasn't so big, does his game, because his game is great, obviously, but I could give you a lot of receivers that did what he did and are currently doing it, Jamar Chase, and are doing it, Justin Jefferson, and are doing it. I could just do that.
Can I push back a little bit?
Please do, sir.
So
Please
you just
do,
said we all collectively agree that Troy Aikman is sorry.
Yep.
Let's not make two wrongs by letting Matthew Stafford in when he doesn't deserve, right?
Yep.
So just because Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce are not in, and that's a wrong.
No, Isaac Bruce is in.
Isaac Bruce is my fault. So just because Torrey
Holt
Holt is not in, that's a wrong.
Yep.
Why do we also wrong Chad Johnson for and not want him in?
Only dilemma here is Shady knows this. Hall of Fame is a zero-sum game. Dude to my right, I think was eligible this year for the first year. To let Chad in means I got to keep one out.
Yeah.
Not necessarily one wide receiver, but I got to keep one out. So, like, you finna let Chad in even though Torrey Holt ain't in? Because keep in mind, DeAndre Hopkins finna be knocking on that door soon. Julio Jones finna be knocking on that door soon.
Yeah.
Steve Smith still ain't up in that door just yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bunch. I'm telling it, and all of these receivers have had higher peaks than Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
Julio Jones has like 1,600-yard seasons. You know what I mean? DeAndre Hopkins got busy with no quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not even to me an indictment on Chad as much as it is maybe wide receiver is the easiest position to get busy. Maybe that, I don't know, 2-5, you play skill position.
Yeah, I will put Chad in the Hall of Fame. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Just look at the years he had, man. He's one of the best. I look at Hall of Fame as if you're one of the greatest players of all time, if you're one of the best dominant players in your era and your time of playing, why don't you be a Hall of Famer? He is an all-decade wide receiver. I mean, he got all pros, he got Pro Bowls, and then the eye test. When you watch Chad Johnson play, you know who Chad Johnson is. And you can talk about the celebrations, but before the celebrations is what he did to get to them celebrations.
Okay, thanks.
Chad was a bad mother. He got some numbers. I don't know. I don't see why he's not. But the only thing about the Hall of Fame is I don't want to get there because I'm trying to get in there, so I won't go too crazy. Yeah. But I'll just say this though: we gotta start letting some of these players pick a little bit, man, and help out. Because like, if you ask any D-back, defensive coordinators, they tell you like, "Yo, Chad was a mother, and he got numbers."
Yeah,
I would put Chad in the Hall of Fame.
So I think it's multifaceted because there's no specific criteria on what a player needs to get into the Hall of Fame, right? So TJ says his criteria is, if you were a top 5 player in your position for 5 years, you should be a Hall of Famer. I talked to one of my friends, Jordan, today. He said, if I can't tell the story of the NFL, or if I can tell the story of the NFL and I have to include you in it, that means you're a Hall of Famer. But also there's other criteria, which is just flat out numbers. And I think Chad Johnson meets two of those. When we talk about 2000s wide receivers, you have to.
Yeah, so I agree with both of those criterias. I mean, if I can tell the NFL if I can tell the story of the NFL without mentioning you, you're not a Hall of Famer. And also, TJ's criteria, if you're a top 5, and I do feel like 5 years is too short, but at the same time, when you think about guys like Antonio Brown, and I feel like Antonio Brown needed longer than 5 years. I've got to look through my research, but I mean, Jay Jetta, Chase, if they retired, well, I don't think Chase is in the league for 5 years yet. I don't know. I have to look it up, but I think Jetta has been in the league for 5 years. Jetta's a Hall of Famer. Now, Jetta retired right now, he wouldn't be a first ballot. I don't know. He can't be first ballot. I would not say. I love Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is probably my favorite wide receiver of all time. Before Justin Jefferson, it was T.O. and then T.O. Andre Johnson, but Justin Jefferson is definitely one of my favorites. But he wouldn't be first ballot if he were to retire right now. But he definitely will be a Hall of Famer. And Chase is a Hall of Famer. So I see what TJ is getting at. I think TJ is actually right. Yeah, 5 years, top 5 in your position, you're a Hall of Famer. You're just not. Now we're just not talking about first ballot. So you got to go be a little longer than that, and that's probably why Chad isn't first ballot. If Chad would have done it a little bit longer on those different teams that he was on, he would have been first ballot. He definitely would have been first ballot. Like T.O. did it for so long with different teams, different quarterbacks, different systems. So. Yeah, but also, where they miss me at is when they're talking about the numbers. Okay, I guess yes, numbers does matter, but at the same time, again, the numbers, the stats, you guys know how I feel about that stuff. It's I use that as a measurement as much as I use a wins and losses in rings and playoff wins for quarterbacks. The measurement is not my priority. That is like the cherry on the top. I will go down like I just did, went on the list of the nuances in how Chad played the game and how he affected the game and how he stressed defenses and defensive coordinators and cornerbacks. His technique, his athleticism, his skill set. That stuff I'm going to talk about before I bring up stats. You guys didn't hear me say anything about stats. Nothing. I didn't talk about how he led the league in this or that. I talked about how he dominated and affected the game because that matters, and how long he did it, because that matters. The nuances, the context. Football is context. You cannot talk about football like a content creator. You have to really get deep into it. Football is like economics. Like you can't freaking just speak shallow information with football. And a lot of the media does that because they're lousy analysis. They're lousy, they're lazy in their takes. And Acho usually really isn't that much lazy in his takes, but this take that he's using is really lazy because all he talks about in this take, all he talks about is just Chad's stats. That's all he talks about. And then he compares his stats to other wide receivers, and that really was like bothering me. I'm like, bro, what are you bringing up the stats for and trying to compare his stats to these knockoff wide receivers who shouldn't even sniff the Hall of Fame? But you're trying to use that as an argument for Chad to get in? Like, what sense does that make? That proves my point why stats does not matter. It doesn't really matter that much. It's like salt, man. It's like salt to a steak, I guess you could say. I mean, the steak is Chad's film. Is what he did on the field. That's the context. That's the story. I don't care if Chad only got 1,400 yards. What was the volume of that? How did he get those 14 yards? How? And against who? And where? And when? All that matters. That matters. And Acho is just being shallow with his takes on this, and it's just frustrating. It's infuriating. Continue on.
Mention Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson is up there. He is one of the most exciting, exhilarating players in the entire National Football League.
My thing. I think I disagree with you.
Really?
I think you have to mention Chad Johnson because of the excitement of the name.
Yeah.
But if I'm really talking 2000s wide receivers, and this is when I was playing Madden, so I really know. I'm talking Reggie Wayne. I'm talking Marvin Harrison.
You're talking T.O. You're talking Randy Moss.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have to mention Chad? Like, do I? I could.
You're right.
I could.
Right. Yeah,
like,
you
I
do
don't know
have
if I have to. Here's the other thing. I'm looking this up right now. Tyreek Hill, more yards than Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
Julio Jones, more yards, more touchdowns than Chad Johnson. DeAndre Hopkins, more yards, more touchdowns than Chad Johnson. Steve Smith, more yards and way more touchdowns than Chad Johnson. And so, like, we arguing for Chad Johnson, as we should. Chad Johnson dope, be cool, he fun, all these things. But at the end of the day, again, if his name was Chad Johnson and not
Yo, like, I mean, y'all tell me if I'm hearing him wrong. It sounds like to me he's trying to make an argument of Chad not getting into the Hall of Fame because of his personality. He's trying to make an argument that because of Chad's personality, because of his character, we wouldn't even be thinking about him for real. That to me is what the argument that he's trying to make. And I think that's stupid. I think that is completely dumb. I didn't care about Chad's celebrations. If Chad was doing all those celebrations and his game didn't match to that, bro, he would be an annoying player. He would be annoying. He would annoy fans. He would annoy the fan base. People wouldn't even really respect him. They're like, what are you doing all these celebrations for? And your game doesn't even match it. Bro, he was doing those celebrations because his game matched it. T.O. became T.O. and did those celebrations. Get your popcorn ready. I love me some me. I think it was also dancing with the cheerleaders, doing sit-ups in the driveway. T.O. was able to do that, and people still respected him because of what he did on the field. So Acho's take is dumb. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. And it makes me feel like, did this dude ever watch Chad play, or is he just hating on Chad? It has to be one or the other. Because his take makes absolutely zero sense. I can't think of a player throughout the course of the NFL history who celebrated like Chad, or who celebrate in general, and their game just didn't add up. And you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't annoying, or he wouldn't get backlash. I couldn't think of a player. These guys was able to do that and still be respected because what they did on the field. I can't think of anybody who has done that. Any wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, I chose not.
Ochocinco. Like, and I say that to say if he didn't have such charisma and all the Larry Fitzgerald, if he did, like, no, I just don't know 2.5. I don't know that we would be, or like, where's Chad ranked yards all time?
Chad Johnson is 44th all time in yards. He's behind. As
far
as active
Deshaun
players,
Jackson?
As far as active players that we have, there's Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce is a tight end.
Hold on, respectfully.
DeAndre Hopkins, all ahead of him.
Is he directly behind Deshaun Jackson?
Yes.
I play with D-Jack Shady's homeboy. D-Jack, good money. D-Jack's not.
All right, so he's about to go into this crazy take and saying D-Jack is in the Hall of Famer. I don't know how he can even fix his lip by even saying that. How is Deshaun Jackson not a Hall of Famer? Now we're talking about first ballot. No, Deshaun Jackson is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's one of the best Eagles wide receivers to ever play the game. He's one of the, if not the best deep threat wide receiver to ever play the game. Deshaun Jackson was a game changer. He dominated when he was on the field. How he's definitely a Hall of Famer, man. I grew up watching these dudes. Like, they were not only exciting to watch, but they were dominant. They were effective. They put a huge effect on the game. And they were extremely consistent week in, week out. How is that not the case? I don't know.
He's not an NFL Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's not an NFL Hall of Famer. Yeah, he is. Money. D-Jack's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's not an NFL Hall of Famer. Yeah, he is.
Hall of Famer?
Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah.
Shady, he's not in the Eagles Hall of Fame. And you want
the best deep threat of all time. We ain't gonna do that.
Oh, okay. Let me not
do that. D-Jack Hall of Fame.
One spot above Joey Galloway. Okay. Chad Johnson is 44th in receiving yards all time. Joey Galloway is 45th.
He's three spots behind Keenan McCardell.
Keenan McCardell.
McCardell, yeah.
Like that's
behind Rod Smith and Mushin Muhammad.
That's the point I'm making.
Like the company that he's keeping is not
Hall of Fame.
It's
not Hall of Fame company. Keyshawn Johnson is 4 spots behind Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not Hall of Fame company. He has 3 All-Pros. Yeah. But like, it's just
and I'm looking at the people like that he's around. Like, Calvin Johnson is around the amount of yards that he had, but Calvin Johnson played 2 less seasons than Chad Johnson is. I honestly think it's the lack of longevity for Chad. It's 11 seasons. If he was able to stretch that out to 13, 14, then maybe he'd have the numbers to be able to get in. But like, numbers do matter. When you have 3 more touchdowns, career touchdowns than Corey Jennings, then I think it's kind of hard to be like, you're
just bona fide.
Yeah, you're for sure.
When you got less yards than D-Jack, it can't just be like bona fide.
Yeah.
When you got more, one like 100, 500 more yards than Roddy White, bona fide. I just can't. Yeah. I just can't die on a hill arguing for
like you're in the same conversation as like a Donald Driver right now. Like it's just and there's too many guys like you said.
What's wrong?
No, I'm talking about stats wise. He's better than Donald Driver.
I get that. I get the stats. I know y'all love stats. But like nobody that really took football serious, and I love and I respect Donald Driver, but him and Chad Johnson's not in the same category.
No, of course not.
A lot of these guys I keep throwing these numbers out. They not right. And it's some guys that, like, for example, I asked you, okay, this is not me. I'm just gonna go to the numbers. Go back to the list.
Yeah.
Right? Because I just want to know, like, there's certain guys that maybe have more 100 yards, 20 yards more than him, but are they better than him?
No.
That's why stats.
But in the same breath, Shady was
Derek Mason,
like
Yeah.
Derek
Hines
Mason.
Ward.
Hell is Derek
Like
Mason.
Keenan Allen, I don't think is anywhere near what I think
Keenan
he's great,
Allen.
but I don't think
But
he's
but
Chad
Mike,
Johnson.
Mike Evans.
Here's the problem, though, 2-5. Here's the
them
problem
dudes
you
is-
have. If
was-
and when you let Chad in, bruh, now Brandon Marshall finna be
Floodgates are
beating
open.
down the door.
Yeah.
Brandon,
Yes,
Brandon
he
don't get in?
should.
I think Brandon gets in too.
Hell is
I don't know,
Acho
Brandon.
talking?
Brandon was nice.
And Shady, you gotta let everyone.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wait,
it's-
Acho, I don't know what the hell Acho talking about in this. He should have just been silent in this tape. He said Brandon Marshall was gonna be knocking down the door, as he should. Brandon Marshall was a freaking dog. Like, bro, did you not watch them play? What the hell is he talking about? When Brandon Marshall was with Denver, oh my god. And then when he went to Chicago with Jake, bro. And I think Brandon Marshall, I think he broke a record for most catches in a game, but I think Keenan Allen broke it like a couple years ago. But I remember when I had Brandon Marshall in my fantasy league when he was in Denver, dude was going at every single week, going crazy work. I don't know what the heck Acho was talking about. Brandon Marshall was definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't know, man.
Oh, Brandon Marshall?
Yeah.
Brandon Marshall gets in the Hall of Fame. Look his numbers up. He got numbers.
Shady, but if Torrey Holt isn't in, like, y'all gotta wait in line.
But-
all
yeah,
I'm saying.
Torrey Holt has to be in.
We just gotta
above
wait
that.
in line.
But wait. This is what I'm saying though. So maybe it's the system.
Okay, so I mean I hear Acho on that. I hear him on that. If Torrey Holt's not in, none of these guys we should make a case about none of these guys. Now I hear him on that. He has a point. And Shady is making an even bigger point by saying, well, it's the system, and that is 100% correct. And this is why some great players that I have heard, like Shady say this, Akeem Talib has said this. They both said that this is why. Well, Akeem said that this is like why it shouldn't be anybody who hasn't played the game. I agree with that to a certain extent. And Shady is even going further in this take, and he's saying that not only somebody who hasn't played the game, but some who is like dogs, because it's a familiarity between them. And I get that. I agree with that. I just don't want that I don't want that to consume the voters, because some guys, I've heard guys takes who's played in the league and who were dogs, and I hear their takes, and their takes were just ridiculous. And it's a different type of perception and skill set that you have to have, regardless if you played or was a dog or not, when you're evaluating and measuring another player's greatness. So and that's where it plays into factor, especially if it's somebody outside of your own position. So that's why it needs to be like maybe like a test or an exam for you to be able to vote in the Hall of Fame. And I think that's what needs to take place. And in the answers that you ask, the questions that you answer, you know, that can be measured based on your football IQ, your football intelligence, and your ability to be able to see and understand who's great or not, and then who should be in the Hall of Fame or not. If you can make good logical answers, maybe even like essays or something, you know, something like that, or like paragraph written formats of why do you think this player should get in? Make a good argument. It's like not even so much like a right or wrong answer, but it's like, is your argument convincing enough for me to be persuaded that in your opinion, why this guy should be a Hall of Fame? Not just this guy should be a Hall of Fame because he has these many stats. That is lousy analysis. Especially you played the game. You played the game. I need to know. I need to have empirical evidence. I need to have a valid argument of why this guy should be a Hall of Famer or not, based on how the game was played, and especially in that era. Like, you got to be able to hit key points like that. So I think we all can agree football is about matchups. Football is a complementary sport. Football is an emotional momentum sport. It is football is situational. So we apply all of that into these players who played. And then we look at that factor. What era did they play in? What kind of defenses they play on? What kind of systems did they play in? What was their coaches, the coordinators, the franchise? We look into all of that. And then we measure that with them. And then we measure that against other players. And then we measure that against other players that are already in the Hall of Fame. And then it's a huge exam. And then we measure, and we talk about that. And that's how we be tested on. And whoever gets tested the highest, and the highest test, the grading scale is based on how persuasive is your argument. How persuasive is your argument? Do you actually make really, really great points about this guy, this player, being into the Hall of Fame? I think that's how it should be, player or non-player. But I do think, with that being said, that there has to be at least maybe 3 guys who are dogs voting, but they still got to test. But it's at least 3 guys that are like dogs. You know what I'm saying? Because of that familiarity, you know what I'm saying? That experience that nobody has ever had, you know. So with that, you know, game, like, it's like a game they recognize game type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that will solve a lot of issues of the nonsense of what's going on in the Hall of Fame voting right now. I think that will be completely perfect. I think so.
Maybe we need to figure out how can we change the system a little bit for some of these players, because there's a lot of great players.
The only question, because Shady makes a good point. Do y'all do this? Let me throw this wild idea out there. Do you say every Hall of Fame year we're gonna let in one quarterback? You know, like all pros. Now you end up letting in a lot of people, but you let in like a starting lineup.
It waters it down too much. If you're letting
like,
in
you know,
just one
you
guy
let in 2 wideouts,
well,
one QB, one run, like, and every year one running back's gonna
the year that Joe Flacco retires, is anybody else that retired that you're gonna have a
but this is the thing though, like, and this is why, and it's nothing against the voters, but this is why we need more, like, not just, but we need ballers in there, because ballers ain't gonna say Joe should be. They're not gonna say that. They're not gonna, you know, they're gonna respect Joe. He ain't that. But Chad and Torrey Hall and them dudes, you like, yo, I know what the baller's like, yo, he deserves to be in. That's why I think it's just like the standard. Everybody's standard's a little different. And I think when you talk to certain players or certain people in the media, who we asking, because sometimes it's like, yo, man, hey.
But let me ask you this, because we had this debate recently.
Come on now.
I don't know if you can allow a bunch of voters who are friends with the players, because you know this. Like, if you're in the Hall of Fame and you can vote for Deshaun Jackson, Shady's voting for Deshaun Jackson.
but it depends who. Now, DJ's my boy.
Of course, you're like your boy for real.
But if I got a job to do, right, and my name's on the line, I'm not gonna play around with that. So if you ask me, is it DJ or Calvin Johnson, I gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just think that, like, sometimes I need to relate to something to really know something, and sometimes I feel like some of them don't really relate and they don't really know.
That's why you can't argue that.
Because that's why, like, it's a conversation of Chad Johnson being a Hall of Famer, because people know when he was playing, like, damn, who he was.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's other. I do think he can be a Hall of Famer. It's just I think he's gonna have to wait his turn, because there are better players that I think are more deserving as it stands. So like a Hines Ward needs to get in there. A Torrey Holt needs to get in there. I think it's tough. But do you think in any way Sterling
would you take Hines before Chad?
I would. And not because Hines wasn't as sexy and all the things as a player.
But Hines was amazing.
Yeah, and when the Steelers won that, and Hines helped the Steelers win it.
He got a Super Bowl MVP and 2 rings,
like,
and
he got 20 more touchdowns.
But he don't have an All Pro.
He has 3 All Pros.
No, he don't.
Yeah, he does.
Go back up there.
He was
go back up.
Second team All Pro.
Go back up.
Was he not second?
No,
team
he got 3 second teams. They don't list second teams of the
He got 3 second teams.
I don't either. So first team, that means I'm the best in my position. That's hard to do.
Yeah, no, Chad has 2 first teams and 1
you know
second team.
Like, yo, that don't matter.
3 second teams isn't bad.
And then when you watch the game, like I love Hines. I'm from Pennsylvania. Like, you know, I went to Pittsburgh. I went to Pitt University, so I love Hines. But if you tell me if I have to go pick a wideout, you gonna pick Hines over Chad Johnson?
No, but doesn't it matter, Shady? You always tell me it's not about the beauty pageant contest. Doesn't it matter like what you do? Like, a touchdown in the NFL is hard. 20 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Like, if I got 20 more touchdowns than you,
What time out?
Like you
Hines
would
Ward got 20
you would
more.
pick a Frank Gore over a Bo Jackson.
No, but
also
but it's more of like I watch Hines and I watch Chad. If you want a wide receiver, you gonna go get Chad. If you want a guy that's gonna be hardworking, do everything you need, go in there and block and do this, do all the dirty stuff.
But then,
I'm
Shady,
cool with that.
here's why I think you're undervaluing this, because Hines got more yards than Chad, and so it's not like Hines. It's not like Hines
played
just
way longer, though.
BSing
He played way
around.
longer.
No, he played 3 more seasons. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think he got 1,000
Yeah,
more.
he has 1,000 more yards and like 20 more.
All right, so I played what
3
more years. I got 1,000. But yo, forget all that. We watched them both play. That's why
Thank you.
Chad's a better player, and I agree.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this though. I think everything matters though too. Having a Super Bowl MVP, 2 rings, and like being the face of that offense at times. Yeah, it's like
because he was the best player.
He was a Steeler.
Yeah.
Like he was the Steelers at the end of the day.
Big Ben was a little baby at the time.
Yeah, Big Ben was a little baby, and Jerome Bettis was old. Yeah, the bus was old too. So it's like you were the Steelers whenever they won 2 Super Bowls. I will ask this though: do you think that Sterling Sharp's induction last year will open the door for more Chad Johnsons to be able to get in?
Only reason I say no, Sterling Sharp's career, if I'm not mistaken, cut short due to injury.
Yeah.
Sterling Sharp's peak was crazy.
Absolutely.
Like, I think he has like 4 first team all pros. Like, Sterling Sharp was something.
Yeah, 3 first team all pros in 7 years.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis opened the door for Sterling Sharp. That's the difference. Because TD only played 7 years.
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVPs, regular season MVPs, only plays. Terrell Davis got like 8,000 yards.
Can I add this though too as well? If Chad had 1 Super Bowl where he was an elite player for that team, he'd be in with the same stats. With the same stats.
Yeah.
But it'd be no
I don't think so, bro.
You don't think it would be? I don't think it would be no question.
Was the main guy on the offense too.
Yeah. I think it's disrespectful though, because like Julian Edelman's in Hall of Fame conversations right now.
Who's all
like Julian Edelman's in Hall of Fame conversations.
No.
Yep. It's called a home equity agreement. And I got
We'll just send it there. Yeah, because this stupid ass keep coming up. But anyway, that's all, man. I think I stated my case on Chad being the Hall of Famer. And I mean, I think we all can agree that he's not first ballot, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think he'll get in one day. I do. I just think they're just kind of just making him wait. And I don't know where Acho is getting at, to be honest. I don't think he really had a really good argument with what he was saying, because he was just going based on stats, and then he started going to the extreme of comparing guys who shouldn't even sniff the Hall of Fame to Ocho, and pretty much saying if Ocho gets in, we all got it. There's a lot of guys that's going to be trying to break down and get in. I mean, but I did think that he did make a good case about he made a good statement about, if Torrey Holt's not in, then we pretty much shouldn't be discussing any other guy getting in. Now, I agree with him on that. I do agree with him on that, because Torrey Holt was freaking monstrous, and it's a crime why Torrey Holt is not in. I don't understand why he's not in. Yeah, I don't get that. But with the guys that he named, talking about, like we mentioned Tyreek Hill, Chase, Jetta, Julio Jones. I mean, those guys are obvious first ballot Hall of Famers. You're comparing first ballot Hall of Famers to Chad. It just doesn't really make any sense. And those guys are still playing. We're talking about Chad just being in the Hall of Fame. He has been out of the league for quite a while now. He deserves to get in. Tyreek, Chad, Chase, you're talking about guys who's already playing, and that's just a terrible argument. Is Tyreek Hill better than Chad? Yes, he is. Is Jetta better than Chad? I think if Jetta keeps doing what he's doing, yes, he will be. If Jetta retires right now, maybe not. Same for Chase. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's all I got, man. So, if you all want more, you know where to find me. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. Deuces all day. No days off.